Yeah. Yeah.
Greetings and welcome to my channel, the Kweendom Come video show, which is just an extension of my previous radio show, which used to air on WDRB radio. And I know I've been saying that I'm going to get on here and do a video show. And you know, I had to speak to a couple of people, or they had to speak to me actually, because I wanted it to look a certain way and be in a studio, and you know, I just wanted a certain aesthetic for the show. However, what I was told is just do it. Anything more will come as it's needed to come. So just do what you do. And so here I am doing what I do. So I'm glad to be able to share some content with you in the visual form. And you know, I didn't even know what I wanted my first topic to be. That was what I was vacillating with as well. What do I want to talk about my first show? And one thing that really hits home for me and so many other people, and it actually has been a hot topic, or just an everyday word as of lately, the word narcissist. Everyone uses this word these days, like everyone. And I will tell you a little background about me is I did do 2.5 years of clinical mental health counseling in graduate school, and just pre-certification. So if one day I'm so inclined to go and get my my papers, then I would be an official counselor. However, I think the work that God has me to do, I can do it just with the knowledge that I currently have and the education that I currently have. So, but you never know what's in store down the pipeline. So realizing just when you're actually dealing with a true, authentic narcissist, and when you're dealing with toxic people who have narcissistic traits, because there is a difference, right? Narcissism is, well, let me say, narcissistic personality disorder is a mental health condition that I believe really needs to be higher up on the list of diagnosis. And when these types of behaviors are exhibited, that there needs to be some type of intervention of some sort, just like they would do with people who show signs of other mental health disorders. I just think with narcissistic personality disorder, it's such a complicated issue that it's kind of hard to grasp hold of it until you really are either a person that has dealt with an individual that has this, or you've studied it, you know, or you've just, you know, been around this type of person that you have done your research, if you're not a mental health professional. So I just thought it would be good to let people know that just because someone displays narcissistic traits does not mean that they're a person dealing with narcissistic personality disorder. All of us at times have some narcissistic traits. And when I say narcissistic traits, I basically am just meaning you're kind of all about self sometimes. You know, it's a me kind of thing. And at certain times we are like that. We can put the focus on just us and are just concerned with us, but we don't allow that to over consume our lives. We don't make it a situation where you just disregard everyone else, their feelings, their emotions, their ideas, their thoughts. And it's just when it gets to a real extreme level that you can start to see and pick apart that these individuals have some issues, like deeper than just having some behaviors, right? So I wanted to just talk a little bit about how narcissists try to make you look like you're the problem, because that's what they do. And I listened to a lot of podcasts with different influencers and things like that that have platforms that are primarily dealing with narcissism, because it's such a huge thing. I mean, I have young people that I work with. I actually facilitate youth groups and things of that nature with mental health and prevention work and all of that. And these young people know the word narcissist. At 15 and 16 years old, I had no clue. But you may have grown up with a narcissistic parent. You may have had a narcissistic sibling or friend, and you just didn't know what it was, so you weren't able to identify it. But when it's to what we call a malignant narcissistic behavior, those people are borderline on sociopath and can be really dangerous, abusive. And you have the covert narcissists, which they do that whole passive aggressive type of thing. So it's a spectrum. And I speak on this because I unfortunately deal or have dealt with someone who has narcissistic personality disorder. And what I will tell you is that is a very difficult disorder to get diagnosed, because the person would have to go and seek help. But because the nature of the disorder is that they don't think anything is wrong with them, everything is you. Everything is your fault. Everything is your fault. And I will tell you that what they believe, and this is medical and psychologists and things like that, those professionals, what they believe is that the root of narcissistic people is that they really and truly are battling internal battles. That these people have to have an enemy, an adversary. They have to have somebody that they are battling with all the time, whether it be their kid, their spouse, their ex-spouse, their co-workers, if their boss, their employees, whatever. This is what feeds them and fuels them, because they are naturally just empty inside, which is sad, to think that a person is daily or on a daily basis fighting with themselves. But in them fighting with themselves, they're a total ass to everybody else. They can be mean, evil, do evil, nasty things to people that are very undeserving, but they will find no fault and take any accountability for their actions because of the nature of their disorder. It's just backwards. And I will tell you, it's difficult to deal with them. It's very difficult because they're always going to find something to fight you and challenge you on. So I'm going to give you 7 tips to understand when you're dealing with a narcissist, that they're always going to make you look like that you're the problem so that they can make themselves feel better. Okay. They're always, number one, going to bait you into an argument. Always. And when they bait you, they're going to basically try to push those buttons that they know are going to get a reaction out of you. I will tell you the best way to counteract that is don't give them nothing. Let them continue to just spiral and fuss and throw this at you and say ugly things to you and all of this. You don't respond, or you respond very flat. Like, don't give them anything, because that's what they want. They feed off of that back and forth. So if you're not giving them a back and forth, what they gonna do? They continue to fight with themselves. Then they'll find somebody else to put their nonsense on. But beware, they're always gonna try to get you and bait you into an argument, so don't take the bait. And when they do that, they usually try to get you to a point where you're enraged so that they can say you're the crazy person. That you're, look at her, she done went crazy, or look at him, look how crazy he is. And I will also mention that most narcissists are men, but there are female narcissists as well, most definitely. But the majority, just statistically shown, are males. Okay, so number two, they insist that you have to justify yourself. So if you're in a conversation, a debate of some sort with them, they want you to explain why your position is what your position is. But what they're going to do is, as you're explaining and trying to be rational and making total sense, they're going to sit there and find ways that you're not making total sense to them. So it's just going to continue to be a counterproductive situation, because they want you to try to justify your position, your stance, but it's never going to be good enough. So basically what I'm saying is you're fighting or beating a dead horse, because it's never going to ease up. It's never going to, match what the reality of the situation is. So I would just say, don't waste your time. Don't justify yourself, and don't try to explain yourself to them. If you explain yourself once and they want to keep going back and doing all this, basically you're done. I'm done. Okay, I said what I said. I said what I said. And then that's it, right? Okay, number three, they're going to try to make you feel bad and shame you for being an independent thinker. And what that means is they're going to interpret, if you're in a relationship with one of these people, they're going to say that your need to have your own mind, your own thoughts, your own way you want to move is doing something to them. So they're going to make it seem like you're making them insignificant. Like you don't care about me because you want to go and get your hair done. Why would you want to go get your hair done? I want you to stay here and watch Netflix with me. What? How do those even match? That what does that have to do with you wanting to go and do some self-care, to not thinking that they're significant or finding value in them to sit home and watch Netflix? That's crazy. However, that's what they'll do. Just try to make you feel bad for being independent, for having something of your own outside of them. Number four, if they're in a funky mood, they're mad, they're upset, which probably is often, just to be honest. Their moods fluctuate depending on the wind, that you're responsible for their moods. You made them angry. That's because you did something to them. So because you did it, it's your fault. You ruined their day. You ruined their whole entire day because you didn't, you didn't turn off the bathroom light. So now you didn't turn off that bathroom light. It's running up our electric bill. It's all your fault. It's all your fault that now I got to go work extra hours to make this money because you left on the bathroom light. Whatever. Okay. They're always going to try and make it your fault for anything that they're feeling or going through. Number 5, they're going to make lame excuses for their mistakes. So if by chance you have someone in your life that's a narcissist and they happened to admit to making a mistake, it's going to be some corny excuse why they made this mistake. And basically you just, it's your fault because you don't understand that I had to do this way because, that's just how I was brought up, I cheated because, you weren't paying me any attention. So, at the end of the day, it's your fault. It's not because I'm a crappy human being, but it's because it's your fault. Okay, and number 6, they're going to intimidate you for having boundaries. Okay, so you want to put up some boundaries to protect yourself. Okay, they're going to try to badger you and bully you. Like, why would you do that? Why would you not allow me to have access to you unconditionally, no matter how I'm talking to you, no matter how I'm treating you, no matter what I'm doing to you? How dare you? Like, what's wrong with you? You're stupid. And the final one, what they do is project. That's their favorite thing to do, besides gaslighting. But what they do is project. And if you've called them a narcissist in the past, honey, they're going to turn that around and say, you're a narcissist. A lot of times they regurgitate what they hear you saying in regards to them. And a lot of times they'll project how they really feel about themselves on you. So if they're calling you, you're a liar, you're a cheater, you're dumb, you're illiterate, you're unworthy, ain't nobody would want you. That's how they really feel, because you're like looking at them like, what? I mean, I'm not any of these things, but that's really them. So what they will do is just flip it around. And that's part of their gaslighting technique. And you just need to watch out for that. Like, if you're not all these things, and basically they're just, like I said, regurgitating what they feel they are or what you've said to them, ignore it. Simply ignore it. The main objective of these people is to wear you down. To make you succumb to their foolishness and to basically just have you at their beck and whim. So if they want to flop you this way, they can. If they want to flop you that way, they can. So when you're resisting to all of that, that doesn't work for them because they can't manipulate you and they can't control you, which that's what they're trying to do. Control you with their twisted mind. So you'll be all twisted up, losing yourself, suppressing what you really feel. You'll wind up, especially if you're in a long-term relationship with them, you're depressed, you're anxious, you don't know what to say, you don't know what to do because you don't know how they're going to be this day, what they're going to blame you for. It's a toxic revolving door. And the more indecisive they can make you and stripping you of your confidence, the better they feel. So I would just say, you have to know who you are. If you are dealing with someone who has any of these tendencies that I just mentioned, my advice would be to get away from them. If you want to have any type of sense of self, your self-worth, your self-esteem, Keep your boundaries. Keep your self-esteem. They are the ones that have the internal stress and the internal conflict, and they're projecting their problems on you and on others. The best advice is something that's called gray rock. Flat. Go flat. Go bland. And it's like a narcissist can't feed off of nothing. So you give them nada. Okay? All right. Like I said, that was just on my heart to just share that today, because I hear so many people. It's a daily conversation. Narcissist, narcissist, narcissist. But to know the difference and to actually be able to identify these people and what you could be dealing with and how to counteract it. Because not all narcissists are somebody that you're in a romantic relationship with. They could be somebody that you're dealing with at work. They could be a co-parent, which I'm going to do a whole nother video on co-parenting with a narcissist, because that's a whole nother beast. But they could be a family member. But I would say if you're able to keep your distance and set up your boundaries, do that. A few plugs I want to get in. My organization, Precious Gifts Incorporated, nonprofit 501c3. We are doing a lot of new things, big things. Please go and check us out on www.preciousgifts.com and see all of the new services and new programs that we are offering for the community. As well as I will be appearing as one of the stars in a new YouTube. I'm going to put it into existence, Netflix series called Happyology. So be on the lookout for that as well. But until next time, I appreciate you joining me with my first Thy Kweendom Come video show episode. I am LaNinia, the Queen with the Crooked Crown, and we'll talk about that as well if you've never caught that on my radio show. So once again, thank you, and remember, you are the gift. Ashe.